Sometimes you come across areas in a game that you might not have expected to find, having either been hidden by the developers as an Easter egg or left behind only to be discovered by players years later. Just to branch off from my regular Iceberg series, in this video I'll be going through 14 of the most mysterious hidden areas in games. My name is Mephisto, and this is in the game that made Valve and Gordon Freeman a household name. If you were to make your way through the map until you reach this room with the lift in the Unforeseen Consequences chapter, or alternatively just load the map C1A1C in the console, you can then ride the lift down to the bottom. At this point you should enter no clip and keep going under the map towards this square. Now all you have to do is turn on your flashlight. Wait, is that Gaben? Oh yeah, it's the man, the myth, the legend, also known as Gabe Newell. But why is it here? Honestly, nobody really knows why that texture is used, other than it probably being an inside joke at Valve. But we do know that this room is used as a spawn room for entities in the level, as enemies can sometimes be found to have been spawned there. Golden Island, Goldeneye 007 N64. Goldeneye 64 is a classic console first-person shooter from 1997, based on the James Bond film of the same name. It is often considered the grandfather of the genre on consoles, and would also go on to inspire titans like Halo and Call of Duty. On the game's first level, if you pick up the sniper rifle from this tower, and make your way over to this area here and zoom in, you will notice an inconspicuous island in the distance that is completely inaccessible to the player. However, if we were to use a no-clip cheat, this would allow us to take a further look at the island, revealing a turret and a tower. So, what is this island doing here? Well, it was revealed that during the game's development, there was a planned boat that would have taken you to this island for an extra mission objective. However, this feature would be cut in the final game, leaving only this island behind, with no way of accessing it. Also, does anyone else see Donkey Kong here on this mountain? The Secret Garden, Shadow of the Colossus. In the cult classic 2005 action-adventure game, Shadow of the Colossus, you play as the character Wanda on a mission to resurrect a girl named Mono by defeating 16 colossi. Colossuses? Anyway, at the end of the game, you'll get a glimpse of the secret garden in the ending cutscene, situated on top of the Shrine of Worship. After seeing this, a determined player concluded that there must be a way to climb up to the secret garden and explore it in-game. And through the use of this very specific path, it turns out that this was, in fact, possible. Unfortunately, players also found out that the rest of the top of the shrine isn't fully textured and is missing some of its collision. But it is clear that at some point in the game's development, you were intended to see this area of the game. Strangely, players also found that above the secret garden, the rest of the shrine isn't fully textured and is missing some of its collision, even though it's clear that you were able to get to this place at one point. GTA 3 Ghost Town. The Grand Theft Auto series is known for being home to some of gaming's biggest mysteries, and this trend really started with the first game in the 3D era, GTA 3, and its mysterious ghost town. The only way to reach the ghost town is with the use of the dodo, and if you played GTA 3 before, you'll know just how much of a nightmare that is. Anyway, starting at the runway, you should take off and veer right towards Shoreside Vale. After reaching the end of the coastline, you can veer right once more. At this point you should keep flying straight, and eventually you'll discover the ghost town. Unfortunately, we can't land as the ground isn't solid, but if you do want to explore further, there are mods that do fix this. So I bet you're asking yourself, what is this doing here in a GTA game? Is the game actually haunted? Well, no. It's actually just a copy of a small section of Liberty City that is used for the opening cutscene of the game and has been placed out of bounds. Interestingly, a similar area also appears in both GTA Vice City and San Andreas for similar reasons. Warden Sharp's secret room, Batman, Arkham Asylum. Tucked away in the Warden's office, in Rocksteady's smash hit Batman Arkham Asylum, lies a hidden room that cannot be seen by using detective mode, as is usually the case. To access this room, you must make your way to this wall, and then detonate 3 explosive gels, bringing the wall down and revealing Warden Sharp's secret room. What makes this discovery so interesting is that the blueprints on the wall reference the next game in the series, that being Batman Arkham City. However, even though this Easter egg had been in the game since release, it was not discovered until sometime after the game was already announced. Easter eggs like this make you wonder how many other secrets could still be undiscovered in other games, just waiting for someone to uncover them. Ghostly Room, Call of Duty Finest Hour. The humble beginnings of the Call of Duty series on consoles has the player battling their way through World War II in this classic first-person shooter developed by Activision and then released in 2004. In the level called Underground Passage, if you were to head off the beaten path, you'll find this seemingly unopenable door here. However, if you were to throw 2 grenades at this door and press the action button, it will now open to a large hallway. At the end of this hallway, you'll find the Ghostly Room. And just look at this room, I have so many questions. Why is there a bear on the toilet? What's with the mini tank and the P45 Mustang in the air? And what's with this cradle? Oh, I need to get out of here. Chris Houlihan Room, Zelda, A Link to the Past. Now this is one of the definitive hidden areas in all of gaming, with quite the interesting tale behind its inclusion in the 3rd entry into the Legend of Zelda series, A Link to the Past. So, the easiest way to experience the Chris Houlihan Room requires you to have the Pegasus boots. Firstly, you should start from the Sanctuary and go 1 screen west. Now quickly dash your way through the forest till you reach an opening on the right hand side. You should then go through this opening, which will bring you out onto the left side of the castle. Follow the path around to the right of the castle, still using your dash, and upon reaching this hole covered by a shrub, you should swing your sword, which will now allow you to enter the hole from the bottom. If done correctly, you'll find yourself in Chris Houlihan's room. The room contains 45 blue rupees and a telepathy tile that reads, "My name is Chris Houlihan. This is my top secret room. Keep it between us, okay?" Sorry Chris, looks like someone couldn't keep a secret. It is believed that Chris Houlihan was the winner of a Nintendo Power contest held during September and October of 1990, where the winner would have their name programmed into a future NES game. However, the winner of the contest was never revealed by Nintendo Power, and Chris Houlihan has never been confirmed to even be a real person. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, why not leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps me out. King Arthur's Knights fighting a rat in Fallout 2. Amongst the many strange occurrences in Black Isle Studios' 1998 post-apocalyptic RPG Fallout 2. Whilst traversing the radiated wastes of California, you might run into this group of Brotherhood of Steel members, with one Arthur Pendragon in the middle. Upon speaking to each member, they will ask the Chosen One if they have seen the Holy Hand Grenade. This, alongside their names, are references to the Monty Python and the Holy Grail film, which itself is considered a holy grail of British comedy. Unfortunately, after leaving this area, we never see these characters again. However, this wasn't always the case. Well, in the files for the game, there is a second encounter with King Arthur's Knights, where we find the knights locked in combat with a rat. For those who haven't seen the film, this is a direct reference to a scene where the knights, not expecting a challenge from a rabbit, attempt to defeat it, and fail miserably. After several of their men have been killed by it, they decide to use the holy hand grenade of Antioch. This encounter seems to be somewhat unfinished, as none of the knights have any dialogue with the player at this point. However, the player can collect the holy hand grenade itself from a cave situated behind the rat. Mountain Observatory, Bioshock Infinite. Bioshock Infinite is the third and latest entry into the Bioshock franchise, which sees our protagonists, Booker DeWitt, alongside a woman named Elizabeth, form an unlikely duo to escape from the flying city of Columbia. During the finale of the game, you'll come across an area called the Sea of Doors. If you were to no-clip underneath the map and go to your left, you'll see a bright white light. When you move towards it, you'll enter a mountainous snowy area. Here you will see an observatory with a purple door that looks quite unfinished from the outside. If you choose to open the door, you'll start hearing snowstorm effects, the same ones heard outside Comstock's house, and as you enter, you will fall into an infinite void. What this area is doing here is completely unknown, as it is never referenced during the game, leading us to suspect that its features were probably cut during development. One of the most famous, and possibly even one of the first instances of a hidden area in gaming, is the Minus Worlds in Super Mario Bros. There are a few ways of accessing the Minus Worlds, but the easiest way to make this happen is by going to World 1-2 and standing on the pipe that leads to the flagpole at the end of the level. After this, you should move to the far left end of the pipe, then duck while facing left and perform a jump. As you are in the air, the player should move right, so that when you're about to come back down, you are just a bit under the ceiling. If done correctly, you will automatically move through the pipe, and then through the wall, and into the warp room, at which point you can take the warp pipe to the Minus World. The glitch got its name from the world level screen that states the number as World -1, hence the Minus World. Technically it's World 36-1, but the game displays a blank graphic for the number 36, so it's instead shown as just -1. If you want to find out more about how this glitch came about, you can watch this video by Scrumpy, where he takes an in-depth look at the glitch. Fallout 76 Developer Room. During the development of an RPG, it's common for game developers to create a room that houses every item in the game so that they can easily test each item in a blank environment before they are properly implemented. This is no different with Bethesda's Fallout series. Players would generally use cheats or console commands to teleport themselves into these rooms, which wasn't really a problem for single-player titles like Fallout 4. However, when the series made its controversial move into the MMORPG space, it also brought along a lot of exploits from its previous games. So when hackers managed to work out how to teleport, they quickly found the developer room, which housed every item in the game, including premium microtransaction items. And, as you would expect, this didn't go over very well with the game's community or Bethesda themselves, resulting in a large wave of bans. The developer room exploit has long since been patched out of the current version. However, there is still footage of the room available to watch on YouTube. It even has one of the first human NPCs added to the game before they were added properly in a content update. The Mind of a Madman, Skyrim. If you're still watching this far into the video, firstly, thanks for sticking around, you're the best. And secondly, you've probably played Skyrim before, even after having been released almost 10 years ago this year. This game still holds up in terms of world building and the level of freedom it gives to the player. It also helps that it's been released on every platform known to man. Now this area is the cut section of the Mind of Madness questline, which is the same questline where the player can find the Wabjack. To gain access to this area, you'll need to come to this place here in the Mind of a Madman, and then activate TCL in the console to disable collisions. This will allow you to get to this door here, which would otherwise be inaccessible. Upon opening the door, you'll find yourself in a pretty normal looking house. But if you were to try and exit, you'll find out that you're actually inside a miniature house on a table. If you want, you can keep exploring and find an unfinished dungeon likely created by the twisted mind of Sheogorath, or, you know, maybe a level designer? We're not sure why this area was cut from the game, but maybe we'll get our answers from the man himself in The Elder Scrolls 6 when it finally releases in 2025. Or is that 2035? I don't know. Mexico, Red Dead Redemption 2. With a game the size of Red Dead Redemption 2, you might be surprised to find out that the entire landmass of Mexico from the first game is fully explorable, albeit in a somewhat unfinished state with the use of glitches or cheats. This area is easier to access on the PC version, as the player can head south using no-clip until they reach Nuevo Paraíso. At this point they can freely walk around the entire Mexico section of the map from the first game. Unfortunately, many of the structures are very low poly versions, and there are no human or animal NPCs to be found, giving it a kind of unsettling vibe. We know that this area was planned for the game at one point, as a new theme can be found for the area using older ambient tracks from Red Dead Redemption, which can be heard if the player successfully glitches into Nuevo Paraíso. The soundtrack will also play when cruising along the San Luis River. Data mining the unpatched PS4 version of the game reveals more low-resolution textures, models of settlements, and even text files relating to Mexico. Curiously, south of Mexico, the player will find that the map continues well further south and west when compared to the original Red Dead Redemption, implying that the Mexican portion of the map was being expanded. And, a little further out of the map, we can find Guarma from the main story. Halo Combat Evolved, the Megg. Speaking of classic first-person shooters, there is no game more iconic on the Xbox than the original Halo, released back in 2001. Now this Easter egg is one that I didn't know about till recently. It can be triggered on the very first mission in the game. So, as we exit the pod at the start of the game, we should climb up to the yellow barrel here and wait for around 20 seconds before moving. After this you can make your way through the level till you reach the bridge where you meet Captain Keyes. And after watching the cutscene, you can make your way back out and to the left, past the 3 grunts to where you pick up the assault rifle. Instead of proceeding as normal, do a 180 and head back to the captain and shoot him directly in the head. Yep, that's right, shoot him in the head. At this point you'll hear Cortana say,
"What the hell are you doing?"
And this will trigger 5 or 6 invincible marines to pour out of the door to the right. Now you should wait for them to come into the room so you can run past them. All that's left to do at this point is head through the door they came out of, which should now be open, turn a bit to the right and look directly up. You might need to turn on the flashlight to see this, but you'll see an M covered in blood. You'll also get the achievement called the Megg on the Master Chief Collection. It turns out that the reason the blood-stained M is here is because it was an Easter egg that was created by a Bungie employee as a gift to his girlfriend, which is kind of wholesome in a sort of weird way. Well, that's it for now. My name is Mephisto, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.